Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us, and we are so excited that you're here, and also that this is the last session of the day, that you hung on to come hear about Data 360 and how to activate trusted data anywhere. We also want to thank you as our customers, our employees here, and everyone that has made this World Tour awesome. So thank you so much for attending. I want to go ahead and introduce my colleagues to you. Gina Nichols is a Director of Product Management on the Data 360 team. Bobby Brill is with us today. He's a Senior Director on Product Management. Matthew Lieber is a Director on Product Management. And then my name is Melissa Anderson, and I am a Director on Product Marketing. So every leap in technology has brought us closer to knowing our customers. And as we know that data being that foundation layer of every company and everything that Salesforce has done has just brought us even closer to understanding our customers' data. Early systems of record, relational databases, cloud databases and warehouses, and data lakes and ML platforms. But what truly is interesting is the gap between understanding and acting on our data. There's the knowledge of our data, the systems that it comes from, and then there's also those actionable insights that we actually want to have on the data. The data is disjointed. It's completely unstructured, right? So how are we going to make that work? What is a system of source that you're pulling your data from to where you can find those calculated insights? That's Data 360. And for some of you that don't know, we were Data Cloud, and now we're Data 360. So just a little disclaimer there. So this can make all your enterprise data ready for action without even moving it at all. We have 108 plus system sources that we can pull data in from with zero copy, real time, and very fast. You don't have to move your data. That is the one key point that I really want to stress here is that our connectors, we have a number of them. If it's in Databricks, if it's in Snowflake, if it's in Google BigQuery, you can pull that data in from virtually anywhere. And we can power workflows, decisions, and analytics with one complete data source. Also bringing context and insight to your data so Agentforce can put it to work. We have had some powerful innovations this year and coming into next year with intelligent context, unstructured data governance, also clean rooms and agentic setup and data management. So today we're going to talk about how Data 360 activates our trusted data everywhere. We're going to kick things off with Bobby. He's going to discuss how we deliver personalized real-time experiences with clean rooms. And then we're going to move on to Gina and Matthew, who are also going to demo how to power smarter, more trusted AI agents with intelligent context. And then Bobby's going to come back and close things out for us on how to unlock connected customer journeys. Bobby?
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. So,
Thank you.
Before we were Data 360, before we were Data Cloud, before we were even Genie, we were Salesforce CDP. So we have our roots in really delivering those personalized real-time experiences for our marketers. And that's why Data 360 is the #1 CDP for marketers. It's been recognized by analysts both for our B2B and our B2C. We're actually a 2-year in a row leader on the Gartner Magic Quadrant for CDPs. And how does it work? Well, first, we access trapped data in data warehouses to power marketing using zero copy. Data doesn't ever need to move. Back when I started Salesforce 14 years ago, we used to say, if it's not in Salesforce, it doesn't exist. Well, now, leave the data where it is. We want to keep that system of record, bring it into Data Cloud, Data 360 for that system of engagement. Next, you can build your unified view of the customer. So you have profiles in many different systems. Well, you need to bring those together so that you can understand what is that single view of the customer doing? What are all those engagement records? And next, because this is built on Salesforce, it's not just for marketing. You can activate those audiences in any application like sales, service, marketing, analytics. All of it's together, all of it's that same data. And last, you can reach your customers wherever they are. Every channel, every touch point across paid and owned media. But your customers don't. Your customers live beyond your walls, and your marketing should too. What if marketers could partner with each other and understand how their joint customers are, what kind of interactions they're having, so that they can build more shared marketing events? Well, that's exactly why we built Data 360 Clean Rooms. We give you the ability to collaborate without risk of exposing data. Data is never moved. Using our zero-copy framework, we're able to leave data where it is, choose which data we're going to be sharing, so that any of that PII data is never moved. Next, we're extensible. Data 360 Clean Rooms works against any other cloud environment. There's clean rooms in many other applications. We work across all of those different clean rooms, as well as Data 360 Clean Rooms. We've got zero-copy sharing between 2 data cloud instances now. And last, we allow marketing companies to partner and turn that insight into action, building more personalized engagement with their customers. So in order to see kind of how clean rooms work, let's take an example of 2 fictitious companies, Polonia Hotel and Astor Airlines. Now, I'm sure I'm a lot like many of you, where I've got my preferred hotel group, I've got my preferred airline. Each of those individually know who I am, but together they don't know that I'm part of the other company. So what does that mean? Well, they're missing out on a very high value co-marketing between the 2 companies. And that's where, if clean rooms were together, they can get a little bit more information about who I am across all of the partners. So to show you how Data 360 Clean Room works, I'm going to play the role of a media manager at Astor Airlines. My colleague Matthew will play the role of a marketing manager at Polonia Hotels. And he's really interested in using my company's media network to market towards his high-value customers. So we're going to go into clean rooms. We're both going to log in. It's built for business users. So that's one of our differentiators. We make it really easy to share the data and map the data. And then Matthew will run a SQL query and get the data that overlaps his high-value customers with my segments. So let's show you what that looks like. Matthew.
Great. Let's see this in action. OK, so the result of a clean room interaction is actually a data model object. So this is what you end up as an output. And so we could interact with this demo in any way. This is a Salesforce report. We could do this for the purpose of this demo. We're going to do this instead with a Tableau dashboard instead. And so what you're seeing here is showing the consolidated results across the different parties. So we see which of our collaborator segments overlap with the segments that we've analyzed. And so Bobby was talking about the high-value segment. I can look on the high-value segment here, the number of matched individuals, so 69 million, right? And I can see each of the matched number of profiles for each collaborator. I can interact with this, right? I can click on this one, and this refreshes accordingly the other segments from the other party, from the provider segment. And I can look in details as to what the overlap looks like, again, across these different parties. We've also shown, we also chose to choose these or to look at these collaborator segments by date, right? So February, April, June, etc. I can also enroll the help of the analytics agent. So I can actually run a query here, a custom query, to actually show the consolidated results. So here, I'm actually looking for the top matched individual per provider segment. And I just don't want to look at the dashboard. I want to run this myself. So analytics agent is going to run this here. And here's the result, right? So all of these are the 5 top provider segments in the high-value segment for Astor Air. And this concludes the demo.
All right. Thank you, Matthew. So what we saw there was we entered a clean room environment. Matthew was able to see the segments from my airline company, and he was able to figure out where do the high-value customers overlap. So now he can do a marketing campaign on my media network in order to target those overlap customers for more personalized experiences. Awesome. Well, next up, we're going to hear from Gina, and she's going to show you how intelligent context is making Agentforce even smarter.
Thank you, Bobby. And hello, everyone. We've heard all day today about how Agentforce can power more intelligent contextual conversations. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in the next bit about how we can use Data 360 and how our customers are using Data 360 to power these intelligent conversations. We have, if you're looking at an enterprise, we have structured data, we have unstructured data, we have all these types of data that are available. But just having these raw data points isn't enough. Agents actually need context. Did you know that 95% of generative AI pilots at companies are actually failing? Actually, this is a large number. And this is because these enterprises actually don't have access to the rich contextual data that their agents need. They don't have enough information about the customer, and they don't know how to parse the complex documents that are now available to them. So let's see where enterprise knowledge lives. We see that enterprise knowledge lives in complex unstructured sources. So we have not just documents, we have documents with flowcharts in them, we have spreadsheets, we have pie charts. Sometimes we have handwritten notes, we have citations. And while AI agents can parse some of this data, they don't really provide the context of all of this data. So think about it. You have your tribal knowledge that your enterprise lives on is in unstructured data, your policies, your exceptions, your workflows, all of that comes from unstructured sources. So today, most AI agents, what they do is they can parse the data, but what they end up doing is they break this up into tiny chunks. So they lose that important business context of your document. So your document is split up, your tables are broken up, the headers are stripped from the tables. You have flowcharts where pieces of the flowchart are broken apart. And what happens is when AI agents are trying to read this type of chunked data, they're actually not successful because what has happened, we've lost the context of these documents, right? And so this is what our Data 360 team has done. We are proud to introduce intelligent context, which is a revolutionary way, or rather a dramatic way in which we are able to parse this unstructured data. So we're not breaking the content up. We're able to keep the context and the right business nuance of your unstructured documents. So we are keeping the business context so that AI can use your agents accurately. The context is there for you to be able to deliver the right responses. Additionally, this is all built on our platform of governance and security. So your AI agents are going to be able to act with the trust and governance that you're used to with all of our Salesforce products. So for the next part of our demo, I'd like to invite Matt Lieber back to the demo desk. And we're going to look at Cumulus Healthcare. So Cumulus Healthcare is a technology company, but they're also a leader in healthcare innovation. And we're particularly going to look at a patient called Harper. Harper relies on Cumulus for all of her medical needs, including her pharmaceutical and program needs. So Harper has questions about whether she's going to qualify for an upcoming clinical trial. And we're going to see how Matt Lieber, an employee at Cumulus Healthcare, responds to her question using Agentforce.
All right, let's again see this in action. So here I am. So I'm an employee at Cumulus Health, right? And I typically help answer questions from patients about follow-up from their appointments. And so in order to do this, I'm going to go to Service Cloud Console. This is usually how I answer these questions. And I'm going to especially enlist the help of Agentforce. So I have Harper's contact here, Harper's profile information, and I'm going to ask the agent. The question that Gina posed is, is Harper eligible for a clinical trial? I don't really know. So I'm going to ask the agent. This is the agent version that is not enabled with intelligent context. So let's see the review. Let's see the results. Well, yeah, that response, Gina, is now very helpful.
Yeah, what's going on here?
I don't
Let's take a
know.
look at the document that this agent's trying to actually process.
Yeah. So the process document is this. It's pretty complex, and I don't know. It's pretty difficult. How long do you think it's going to take to process this document? It looks like it's going to take all day.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see how complex this diagram is, right? We have multiple boxes. We have a lot of information in there. So let's see how we are able to use Agentforce with intelligent context to access this document and its data.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, let me do that. Okay, so let me go back again to Service Console, change the version of the agent with the one that is enabled with intelligent context, and ask again that question. And the question is again, is Harper eligible for the trial? And so here, taking you behind the scenes real quick, what the agent is doing is it's building a search index on that process PDF document. It's trying to understand that unstructured document to answer this question, whether she's eligible. It's also going to take into account the structured data that we have on Harper, all of the profile information, all the medical record that we have on Harper. It's going also to include the transcript from an audio note recorded from her physician after an appointment. And I'm getting the results here. Apparently, she is fully eligible. That's the good news. Gina?
Yeah, thank you, Matt. So we saw how this agent, using intelligent context, was able to access a complex document and provide all that information back in the course of an agentic conversation. That's the power of Data 360. It brings in structured data, all your customer records that you're used to. It can bring in unstructured content, like these complex documents, and provides the context that your agents need to be successful. And remember, all of this is built on Salesforce's governance and trust. And so your agents are also able to act with the same governance and trust that you're used to. Back to you, Bobby.
Awesome. Thank you, Gina. All right. So now I want to talk about how Data 360 really builds that customer 360. And I'd like to tell you a story about how Salesforce is using Data 360 to understand all of our customers, everything that they are doing so that we can deliver more personalized experiences. So much like many of you in your companies, we struggled with our data. It was fragmented. Spoiler alert, most of our data actually was not in Salesforce. We have an enterprise data warehouse with Snowflake. All of our product data, so anytime you're in the application, you're clicking a button, all that data does not go into Salesforce. It's stored in Amazon. So we have AWS Data Lake. We also use Google BigQuery to understand web traffic and activity. Well, all of these things were separated, and none of it was in the system that we are doing our business in, which that is Salesforce. So what we ended up with was very fragmented lead routing. So leads weren't going to the right people. And I don't know about you if you've ever logged a case with Salesforce, but how many times do you have to say what's going on, explain who you are? The agents who are running your cases, they don't know any of that history. And then Agentforce, even more so, doesn't know anything about you. So we had some issues there. But recently, and within the last 6 to 12 months, we onboarded onto Data 360, back when it was called Data Cloud. And what we've done so far, we have this Salesforce instance called the Truth Profile org. And in the Truth Profile org, we have 153 million unified profiles. So let me just explain what a unified profile is. You all came to this event, you registered, you have a profile in our event system. Well, our event system is not Salesforce. It shouldn't be Salesforce because Salesforce wasn't built to be an event management system. So you logged into our event system, but sometimes you're logging cases with us through Salesforce. Well, you have a profile within Salesforce. There's other systems that you have profiles with, and what we need to do is bring all that together so that when you're logging a case or coming to this event, we know that you are doing these things. So when we unify the profiles, we're able to unify all of those engagement signals as well. We have over 68 billion engagement signals connected to our unified profiles. So what does that mean? Well, you came into this door, we scanned your badge. That's an engagement signal. I was doing some demos earlier this morning, and I was scanning badges. Well, that's a data signal. Well, we don't want to have to spend the time to get that back into Salesforce. We store that into our Snowflake data warehouse. All those systems that are not Salesforce, they need a place to store their data, so we use Snowflake. And then our documents. We have over 700,000 knowledge articles, help docs, all these things that unless you're reading through it, you're not going to really understand. And the power of agents is they can very quickly parse through those documents. We can build search indexes on those so that when you ask a question, we can surface up that relevant information. So we took our 700,000 docs and we indexed them in Data 360. And what did that allow us to do? Well, we connected with over 1 million customers per month using our help.salesforce.com. We've handled 1.8 million cases through our agent. And then even better is we are now able to, our SDR agent is able to work on leads and actually drive them to the right sales team at the right time. And our outcomes have been nothing more than spectacular. From faster lead routing, higher ACV, to even better service. Our Data 360 has allowed us to build more personalized service so that when you click to log a case, we have all that context about everything that you've been doing. And the zero copy has really allowed us to move even faster. So if we had to build, if we had to use engineering resources to move any of that data into a different system, that takes time and a lot of money. So zero copy has allowed us to connect directly to our Snowflake instance, where we have 25 terabytes of records for our enterprise data warehouse. All that product telemetry I told you about, all that's in the Amazon Data Lake, hundreds of petabytes of data. And then we're able to very quickly connect to Google BigQuery to really understand that web engagement. And we have it all coming into our truth profile. Data 360 has really unlocked Salesforce, but it's unlocking many, many of our customers as well. In fact, 44% of all of our customers are using the zero copy to keep their systems as they have and build on top of it to build faster marketing and engagement for their data. And we're really excited that now we've increased the number of zero copy connectors. So now it goes even, you can do even more with that zero copy. All right, well, Melissa, where can we go from there?
All right, thank you, Bobby. So where do we go from here? So let's wrap up what we learned today. So first, Bobby demoed clean rooms and how to deliver personalized real-time experiences. Gina and Matt demoed how to power smarter and more trusted agents with intelligent context. And then Bobby showed us how to unlock connected customer journeys and how Salesforce did that, how Salesforce actually uses and utilizes Data 360. And we're not done just yet. So coming soon to Data 360 is expanded zero copy network. That includes over 108 new system sources for zero copy, also including IBM. Zero to action on your very first day, and a few of those features are simple start, agentic setup and data management, and then last, agentic search, which is one of our biggest features yet. Find anything and take action through a single search. And with that, are you ready to get started with Data 360? If you scan that QR code, you can join our Data Blazer community. We actually have one of our Data Blazers here with us today, and he is amazing, is our golden hoodie winner. And so our Data Blazer community is our community of customers, the people that are actually utilizing the product. They're the ones using it. And it helps you to be able to connect with other people, ask questions, and there's different types of events all over the United States as well. So I encourage you to join the Data Blazer community, and you can find out about our events, and you can connect with your peers and different customers. Also, if you take a look as well up there, Learning with Trailhead, read about our Data 360 use cases and explore our Data 360 use cases, just go to salesforce.com data and you will find all of that information there. And thank you so much, everybody, for coming today. I know it was the last session of the day, and we have a little bit of people here, but we are super excited that you came. We're grateful for our customers. I'm grateful for Gina and Bobby, and also Matthew for joining me. And that's a wrap. Have a great evening, everyone.